Hey y'all. Welcome to Receive and Relate. If this is your first time here, if you are a returning subscriber and or a returning visitor, hey y'all, hey. So I can't remember if I told y'all this over here where I said there was another man. Listen, let me tell you something. Let me tell y'all something. I really, really, really dealt with this narcissistic demon and several different men, and it's just the main stories were the ones that I had like the longer playlist for, but after like sharing the longer playlists a few months ago and finishing up, I realized that I still forgot a couple of different stories. And this one is actually just one episode because that's how short it is. That's how short lived this one was. Thankfully, I did not get into a relationship with him, even though I wanted to. But I believe the Lord has me to do release these stories. And what happened to me is to show y'all too that I always say this: it's the same demon, just different vessel. And how the narcissistic spirit, the different traits of the type of narcissistic spirit, but it's all the same demon, right? So they could when I say traits, the way they perform their narcissistic duties, should I say, as the demon, or the demon performs his narcissistic duties, is that's what I mean by different traits, right? So but once I tell you the story, they all start out the same. Now I will say this: they all start out the same, meaning they all, okay, when I say all, they all love bomb you in the beginning. Okay, that's one thing that stays the same. Okay, how they pull you in could be different. That's what I'm talking about in terms of the traits. Okay, so let me get into this real quick, this story real quick. So this was around the time, and I'm going to put this in a separate playlist as well. I just so that whoever wants to go back and watch them, they can identify who is who and which series and everything like that. So this one, like I said, is very short lived. This will be this episode right here. I hope I don't make it too long, and because like I said, that's how short lived it was. It don't need it's not gonna be no part nothing. Okay, because that's how short lived it was. But the Lord reminded me about this a couple of months ago, and like I said, I can't remember if I made the announcement here. I think I made it on my Facebook Receive and Relate page, which I have a Receive and Relate page on Facebook, but I don't think it's Receive and Relate TV. I just think it's Receive and Relate. If you want to go over there and add it, but all the full stories and stuff are here. Well, I post them over there too. I post them over here too, but it's just easier to navigate them over here on YouTube for you guys. But just so you know, if you are somebody on Facebook and you wanted to add me, I do have a page over there. So I think I made an announcement over there a few months ago, like, y'all got a couple of more stories, and I do another one after this one too. I'm not gonna record that one tonight. You just have to stay tuned for that one. So put your if you're here for the first time, put your notification bells on for me, subscribe, and hit the like button too, y'all be watching, but y'all be hitting that like button so my videos can move through the algorithm so people can see them. But it's all good. It's all good because they'll be seen. Well, I'll just leave it at that. Leave that alone. They'll be seen soon. Anyway, so yeah, so this situation happened when I was separated from my first husband, right? The final separation, because remember we were separate. Well, if you knew here, we separated twice. So this was the second final separation where I temporarily moved in with my sister because I had gotten a job up here in Baltimore. And so that's when I met him. So I'm gonna say I moved in with my sister December of 2012. That's when I started working. But him and I had already started. We met already I'm a maybe like that August or September of that same year, something like that, right? And I believe, and I had to I had to ask God. That's what it was. I had to ask God how we met, because I couldn't even remember how we met. I think I met him in one of them groups. People be having Facebook groups. I used to be. Oh, I'm so glad I ain't a part of them things no more. Them things could be very toxic. I went through some stuff in one of them groups, but anyway, I think it was in one of them groups how I met him. Because it wasn't. He didn't live here. He didn't live here. I believe he lived in Connecticut, if I'm not mistaken. And so, but what happened was I was like kind of like part of the, I guess what you want to call the quote unquote woke community back then. But not like where people do like now. Where people are doing stuff where they, I feel like some of me personally, I feel like some of the quote unquote woke community is like not even necessarily too woke. I mean, like in a sense, like they pulling you away from Christ and all of that, and trying to make you believe in any God and any way to heaven and stuff. Like I feel like some of the quote unquote woke community is that type of too woke, and that where you can gone off the deep end type woke. You see what I'm saying? So I ain't never get there. I ain't never go there, because one thing's for sure, two things for certain, and one thing's for sure. I never renounced God. You know what I'm saying? Even when I was in a backslidden state, that was never going to happen. I've always been a child of God, and I always knew who He was. So anyway, but I was part of that kind of community where I was learning some things. Matter of fact, God put me on it. That's why I don't even really like to call it woke. He just put me on this journey back when my ex-husband and I separated earlier that year, May of 2012. And he put me on this journey where I started learning a whole bunch of stuff about the real, where a lot of people know now, but the real behind the scenes and stuff that goes on in the music industry and stuff like that. And I met a couple other people, and they say the same thing. That's how God started with them, with the music industry. And the things and stuff was blowing my mind. And then I learned other stuff and other stuff and other stuff. And so what happens, I think when you talk a certain kind of way, even if you in like a group or whatever, somebody else who's quote unquote woke, if that's what you want to call it, will recognize your tone in the text tone. You know what I'm saying? They'll be like you'll recognize each other. Like, oh, okay, you hip. That's what I used to say all the time. You hip. That's how I knew what somebody was understood. Where I was coming from and the things that I had learned in terms of the music industry and a whole bunch of other stuff, right? But again, remember, I never renounced God. Always, always, always had a relationship with God. I just I wasn't going to church at the time. Well, man, God was teaching me some stuff about the church too, man. Listen, it was deep. But anyway, I never turned my back on God in terms of that. Now, with the sin I did, but I never renounced God. Never have, and definitely never will. But anyway, that's how I met him. I said something, or he posted something or something, and then you comment or whatever. And please bear with me, y'all, because like I said, this is 2026. Okay, I'm recording this on January 16th, I believe, 2026. I believe you'll listen to it on the 17th, but I'm talking about something that happened all the way back in 2012. Okay, so bear with me if I pause a little bit or may forget something, gotta go back. I try to edit as much as I can, but sometimes I don't even edit. Y'all just gonna have to hear the bloopers or whatever. If you want to hear it, like to hear it go. Anyway, so that's how we met. Either he made a status or I made a status, and then I think we started inboxing and DMing each other, and to eventually where we exchanged numbers. Now, when I say, now I worked, right? Because, no, okay, I'm sorry. When I first met him, I didn't have a job yet. So I had a lot of time, during the day. Did he work? If he did, I don't think he did. I think he did before he met me. But I think he was another one that was on the quote unquote white man thing at the time. Like, I ain't working for the man. Like the other one I was dealing with, the one the other series I told y'all about. Um but so cuz he had a lot of time on his hands too. The reason why I'm saying it, because we talked, when I say y'all, we talked so much. So much. We would talk late in the evening. When I wake up in the morning, I would have a text message from him plenty of days already before I woke up. Good morning, beautiful. Oh yes. Oh yes. Remember I said they love bomb you in the beginning, right? Um he of course, he told me how attractive and beautiful I was, and always mentioned how it was so refreshing that he could talk to somebody who got it. You know what I'm saying when I say who was hip. And I told him the same thing, because I was going through a situation around the time with quote unquote, and I'm real big quote unquote friends who didn't understand or didn't want to understand the knowledge that the Lord had given me. Right now, let me say this real quick too. Let me put this in. The Lord had to pull me back though. Okay, the Lord was teaching my ex-husband and I separated May of 2012. That whole summer, I would say about that whole summer, around and the time I met him, and probably still up until I left from down there, I was studying and going deep. But what happened was the Lord had to pull me out of the rabbit hole, because I was getting ready to go in too deep. Like, I was looking for this certain book. I think, I'm sorry, excuse me. That I think his name was. He's dead now. Aleister Crowley, I think his name was. It was a Satanist or something. I think it was a book or something that he wrote. It was something that I was looking for with him, so that I could read and pull up and read and stuff myself. And the Lord said, like he's, how a parent like take their finger and wave their finger to the child, like like that's what the Lord said. Come on back, daughter. You going too deep. Meaning, like, he showed me I was getting ready to step into a jurisdiction that I wasn't at the time equipped for. Now I could probably do it, right? Because I'm equipped now. And in terms of warfare and stuff like that. Now, would I want to do it? Nah, it ain't even that serious to me no more. But he knew I wasn't equipped yet. In other words, so I could get attacked. Plus, I had open doors and stuff like that. So I had the enemy had legal right to attack me if he wanted to. So I was like, okay, Lord. So I pulled back, but I learned so much. So that's what we will be talking about. What I learned, and then he would share with me what he learned, and we would like put stuff together, put facts together, and like, I mean, we taught so much. So of course, naturally, and he's not a bad looking guy either. Let's be clear about that too. He was not an unattractive guy either. The enemy not gonna listen. He's not gonna give you nothing that you're not attracted to. We know that, right? Or he not gonna present nothing, excuse me, that you're not attracted to. And then the fact that he found me attractive. And remember, okay, I'm separated from my ex-husband, fresh out of a whole abusive relationship, so of course I'm vulnerable. So I haven't heard someone compliment me in like years now. So of course, I'm like feeding off of it, so almost, so to speak, right? Like, of course, like, I'm wrapped up in it. So like I said, we talking and talking. Sometimes we fall asleep on the phone together. Okay. He tells me when we first met, he's single, right? And I tell him all about my situation, of course, too. And of course, he I found him even more attractive when he was encouraging me about that, telling me, everything that I wanted and needed to hear from the opposite sex at the time, because of my vulnerability. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't that I didn't know it. It's like, it felt good to hear it. Of course, I'm vulnerable at the time. So he was, telling me that not only was I attractive, that of course I didn't deserve it, which I didn't, We know that. But I just, it had been so long since I heard somebody of the opposite sex, encouraging me and complimenting me. Not just complimenting me, but encouraging me on what I deserved and didn't deserve and stuff like that, and understood where I was coming from. Plus, also, I wasn't big on sharing with everybody around that time what I had dealt with, because a lot of me had a lot of pride back then, and I ain't want to share with certain people that I felt was going to point the finger at me and say I told you so type thing. You know what I'm saying? So very few people around that time knew what I was really going through. I had just opened up to my sister-in-law, who house I was living in at the time, about it. But anyway, that's, you have to go to that series to get more information on that. That's called My Marriage to My Narcissistic Ex-Husband. So like I said, so he's love bombing me. We talking on the phone all the time. He says he's single. Hold on to that, okay? He says he's single. I tell him that technically I'm not. I'm separated, but he knows my whole story and everything like that. The other thing that I like, y'all. The other thing that I liked was that I enjoyed not being on the phone with somebody who, he wasn't like trying to jump into my pants. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't trying to jump into my pants right away. I've talked to them type of guys too. Or sometimes some of them be on the first phone call already trying to smash, or it may take them maybe a couple days and they try to do it. He never came at me like that. You know what I'm saying? But he still made me feel attractive, like a wanted, should I say? You know. But he ain't coming at me like that. So you know what I'm saying? I like that too. You know what I'm saying? It was refreshing for me too. So like I said, we're talking. This is every day. And like I said, I met him, I think it was around maybe like August or September. Right? So think about this. If you talking every day, all day, from August all the way up to December, right? Okay. He told me he's single. I tell him, I'm separated. Both of us live out of state. We talked about, oh yep, that's another thing. We talked about hooking up and visiting each other. He wanted me to come up there and visit him in Connecticut, and I told him I would, and definitely would have made plans to do so. As a matter of fact, if what didn't go down went down, I think I might have was making plans to go up there Christmas or New Year's or something like that. I just know, I know we was making plans to hook up and see each other. Now, here's where it gets a little tricky. So remember I said he was single, but he talked to me about the quote unquote last girlfriend that he had, just like I told him about my ex-husband, right? So he told me, what went down, what happened. Now y'all, I don't remember the whole intricate details about that. I just know the way he painted the picture made it seem as though she did him wrong, right? And I'm not sure if he said she cheated on him or if he took his money. I can't remember, but that's the way he portrayed it. You know what I'm saying? Like he was done wrong, like he was done dirty or whatever, right? So in my mind, all these times, you from September to September, October, November. Okay, so for 4 months, right? In my mind, I had this certain picture of the person that he was previously in a relationship with, of her being this dog, this cheater, and stuff like that. Matter of fact, I think he told me her name, and I think he like, I don't know if he screenshot it. Cause was we screenshotting back then in 2012? Child, I can't remember. But somehow I was able to see her. Like I said, I don't know if he showed me her name, and I pulled, because we ladies, we went to go pull up, we went to go see. Of course I did. But I seen who she was. Now, fast forward. Okay, remember. Okay, so we're so close. We talking all day, all day. So, even though he never. No, he did. He did, right, Holy Spirit? He did express that he liked me. He did. He did. Now I can't remember if we expressed that we was getting ready to take it to the next level type of thing, but the way we talk, y'all, if you could hear the conversations that we had and expressing each other that we liked each other and we're attracted to each other and everything, the way our conversation went, it just seemed like it naturally was already went to the next level. Like you ain't had to really talk about it. We play, like I said, we made plans to make to go see each other and stuff like that, to visit each other, but I think I was supposed to be first. um and I'm trying to remember, did he have a, no, I think he did have a car. I just don't think he was working at the time that I was talking to him. I can it's been so long ago. But yeah, like I said, he wanted me to visit him, and I was going. So I think that it already shifted to that. Like it to me, it seemed like it was a no brainer. We had to have this conversation. Well, because we had gotten so close and everything like that, he was then able to, quote unquote, now open up to me and be vulnerable with me and ask me something. And so he told me one day over the phone, he was like, hey, I got something to ask you, and this is how they do, because remember I said they had different traits, but it's the same demon though, right? The ones that always want you to give them some money, this is how they do it. They love bomb you at first, and so that's the way to get you in their corner pocket. You know what I'm saying? That's where the love bombing comes from. So they can get you comfortable enough to ask you, because they figure by the way you so comfortable with them, ain't no way you're not gonna say no, right? So like I said, he asked me one day, he was like, man, I'm about to ask you something that's gonna be so difficult for me. I don't do this to nobody. They always got a they always got a story and excuse and an explanation. I'm telling you, they gonna tell you, A, B, and C as to why it's hard, quote unquote, for them to ask you or whatever. I'm telling y'all because I have been there, okay? Unfortunately, too many times. So he says, he does his spiel about how it's difficult to ask, and I was like, ask me what? Like, what's going on? I don't think I was thinking that he was going to ask me for money. I probably was thinking that he was going to ask me to be his girlfriend or something like that, the way he was saying. But no, not when he starts saying, I don't never ask nobody this. But I still wasn't thinking that it was money, right? Because he had never, see, that's how this one got me. The other ones that I had, that I was in narcissistic relationships with, those playlists are on my channel too. Go in my playlist section and see or listen. They didn't take long to ask me for money. One of them, uh maybe, I don't even think it was a full week we was talking before he gave me this. I told the video, excuse me, I did a video on it. Gave me this whole spiel about not having nothing to eat or whatever, and his mom, the way mom treat him like trash and da 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 da. He didn't take long at all. But this one, it was months in before he asked me, and I want to say, it was, let me see, because maybe we started talking, maybe we was talking longer than even the 4 months. I'm not even gonna lie, I can't remember, but maybe why do I, for some reason, I'm thinking as I'm talking to y'all, remember I said give me grace, y'all, I feel like it might have been a little bit longer than the 4 months, but nonetheless, it took him a long time. He had never, and that was the truth, that was honest truth, he had never up until this point had asked me for a dime. But this day he did. Okay. And it was $50, right? Now it wasn't a lot of money, but it wasn't a little bit. And just like another narcissist that I was in a situationship with, he lied about why he needed it. He told me, I can't remember if it was gas and something else, or if it was gas and something to eat, or if it was it was for something that it wasn't for, right? but I would later find out. So I gave the money and everything, sent the money to him and everything. We ain't had cash. I don't think we had Cash App back then. I think I Western Unioned it, and he was so grateful and so thankful and everything like that. And he didn't stop talking to me and everything after that. You know what I'm saying? We kept in touch and stuff. But what I did notice though, um, the communication started to not be as frequent. Remember I said, like, we would be on the phone for hours sometimes. Sometimes we would go to sleep talking on the phone. Sometimes all that going to sleep and all them hours and stuff had, you know what I'm saying, it started to dwindle, so to speak. And um, but remember, okay, I had his Facebook and I had the girl's Facebook, and I don't know what it was. Well, now I know it was a Holy Spirit. It was Holy Spirit. Let's call it what it was. Um, I went on her page and I saw them, and she had posted me and my boo thing, something, I'm just paraphrasing, me and my boo thing out on a date. um we enjoying each other company and stuff like that, something like that, blah blah blah. When I tell y'all, I looked at the date and I went back to them text messages. Listen, and I matched the date of when I sent him that money and the date that the post was posted, and put two and two together, y'all. My little heart sunk to the ground. When I tell you, I thought that this dude was getting ready to, like legit, like he was gonna be my next boyfriend. Like I was gonna have a boyfriend through this separation process. I ain't care. Now I don't think I was like looking at merge all that quick like that. But this Bama was gonna be my significant other. When I seen that, I was crushed to pieces. And so, of course, I hit him up about it. And the Bama, of course, denies it. And I tell him, I say, give me my money back. And let me tell y'all when it was. Ooh, this was the bad part about it. Remember I said I think I was going to make plans to go see him. Like, it was going to be either Christmas or New Year's. When I found this out, it was Christmas Eve. It was either Christmas Eve or the 23rd. It was either right the day before Christmas or the 2 days before Christmas. Nonetheless, it was right before Christmas time. Now, Christmas, if you didn't know, is my favorite time of the year. Okay? Favorite time of the year. Now, I'm going to tell a little something about my sister. One of my sisters around that time, she was into them, she had gotten into them Hebrew Israelites real hard and real heavy. Almost to the point where I listened to her a little bit, but it was only real short lived, and I was like, yeah, and the Lord was, this ain't me, daughter, this ain't me. Okay? But I was living with her, so you know what I'm saying, that was, what she was into. And so at that time, that year, she wasn't celebrating Christmas because she was all into the Hebrew Israelites. Now, my main reason that I love Christmas is because, first of all, of course, I know that's not the Lord's birth, but that's how we celebrate it. But also on top of the reason of his birthday that we celebrate, I got saved at a Christmas play. And so Christmas will always be near and true to me. And nobody, and I mean nobody, can ever make me ever not celebrate it. Okay? And so, but it was just my favorite. It's always been my favorite time of the year, ever since I was a kid. So you already got in the house, it's just quiet and stuff like that. Nobody celebrate Christmas. But that had nothing to do with why I was crying. I was crying because of what I seen. And he denied it, but he gave me my money back, y'all. Okay, because my thing is this: if it wasn't true, you know what I'm saying? If somebody knew that they do something that ain't true, they ain't gonna give. He wasn't gonna give me my money back. Like what you said, I didn't take nobody on anything. What you talking about? Da, 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 da. Or maybe some people would still do it just to keep you from asking. But he sure enough gave me every dime back. But it was not. It was I literally I seen it. And then when I tell you, like, it was the worst Christmas ever. So that morning, the way my sister old house used to be, my room, it was a room in the basement. That's why I slept at. But then upstairs on the main level, it was a powder room, but it was actually a full bathroom and had a shower. That would be the shower that I would use, so I don't have to go all the way upstairs to the shower everybody else use, what the kids use or whatever. So and that shower was right on the opposite side of the kitchen. So I was doing one of them shower scenes. You be crying in the shower. Y'all, my heart was torn to pieces. Cause let me say something. It's one thing, to oh yep, and this was before that other incident happened. I was thinking that was before, but this was first. It's one thing to you ask me for money, okay. I've always been that person. If I mess with you, like, I'm cool with you, and I got it, you got it, right? I had always been that type of person. But don't lie to me. You know what I'm saying? Don't lie to me. And even to this day, lying to me is a trigger, okay, because of what I went through in my life. And so that's what hurt the most, that he had captured my heart. I had an emotional soul tie with him, okay. And my thing is this too. I know you had to know that she was going to post it. As a matter of fact, you stand there posing with it. Somebody took the picture. You stand there posing with it. You know daggone well she was going to post it on Facebook. Maybe he forgot he told me her name or something. I don't know. Or he just didn't care. Maybe he didn't think I was going to put two and two together. Or maybe he just didn't care if I did or not. But I was man, I was broken, y'all. So I'm crying in the shower. Remember, I said the shower was on the opposite side of the kitchen. I heard my niece in the kitchen, and I heard her come to the door and just stop and listen. And then I heard her go tell my sister that I was crying, and my sister came and listened. I was in there for a long time. I mean, boo-hoo, I'm telling you, I was crying like somebody died, y'all. So then my sister, I get out the shower, she once again, she's thinking everything is about her at that time. And I told her, I was like, she thought I was crying because they weren't celebrating Christmas. I was like, what? Like, yeah, that's annoying, but that's not something I'm be crying over, right? So I'm trying to tell her, like, nah, it ain't that. But I ain't want to tell her what it was because I just didn't want to talk about it. You know what I'm saying? I just didn't. It was fresh. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't want to talk about it. And I definitely didn't want to talk about it with her at the time because I ain't fool with her really like that at the time. And so, but she swore up and down it was about her. I was like, I looked at her. I was like, man, everything ain't about you, young. Everything ain't about you. So that week of Christmas. Now, the blessing was I had just started December 12th, my brand new job. But I still was able to take off because I worked at a university. So nobody was going to be there. I'm not going to be there. You know what I'm saying? So even though I ain't really had much leave or whatever, I was still off. Man, I'd rather have went to work. That's how bad it was. I didn't want to be home because being home, scrolling and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? That's all I'm thinking about is him. I said I wasn't going to make this long, but it's all good. So, New Year's came. New Year's Eve. And I was still broken about this thing, y'all. Like, some of y'all probably thinking, like, he wasn't even your boyfriend. Yo, but I thought we was on our way to that. You know what I'm saying? And so I went to get a bottle of wine. I was on Moscato like that back then. Now, at that time, in my sister's house, she had a home theater, right? I went. I don't know what they was doing. I don't know what plans they was doing. I ain't even asked. I ain't care. I really wanted the house to myself. I was hoping all of them would be gone. I can't remember. But I sat in front of that big old screen TV, big old theater screen TV, and the lazy boy sipping that lean backs and drank that whole entire bottle of wine with tears balling from my. Now here's the thing, I ain't never even been a drinker like that. I was always a social. When I did drink, I don't drink now at all, but when I did drink, I was a social drinker, right? Literally. I mean, you wouldn't even be able to find alcohol in my house. So for me to drink that whole, you talking about I was down in the dumps, and I remember, I kid you not, y'all, I wasn't even playing though. I was so serious. I prayed. I remember telling my husband this. I was talking to my husband about this not too long ago. I remember saying a prayer in front of that TV, and I said, God, because I was so lonely, right? I was so lonely, and I was looking back at my life and how it had turned out at that time. You know, the horrible marriage I was in. Um, Now this situationship that I was in is torn to pieces. I just felt like a failure, and the enemy, of course, was feeding into that, right? But I said a prayer, and cause I watched that ball drop right there in front of that TV with that bottle of wine in my hand, and I said, God, um, I don't ever want to spend another New Year's like this again. If any way possible, I don't ever want to be alone on New Year's again. And then I also said, when I do remarry or get a significant other, can we always kiss on New Year's? I don't ever want to be alone on New Year's again. And so God honored my prayer, you know. I think thereafter on New Year's, I was even in church or with friends. But when I got married, when I got remarried, my husband and I make sure we kiss when the ball dry every year. Now every year. So his job is weird. He's off on Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve, but he has to work on Christmas Day and New Year's Day, but he works at night, right? So, but he's always here on the eve. So I'm always able to, we're always able to kiss each other when the ball drops every year, and thus we did again this year. I think I told him that story like last year or something like that. What happened? He was like, "Wow." But yep, that's what happened, y'all. That is another narcissistic. I'm gonna just say situationship because it didn't even get to a relationship. I thought it was, but it's just another way. I wanted to share with y'all. When God told me to do it, He was like, "Yeah, share with them that it's another. It's the same demon, right? But it's another trait the way they do it, how they love bomb you. But then He asked me for money, but He waited. This time wasn't somebody that asked me right away. So honestly, I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. I think the way he did it is worse than the way somebody that asked me right away did it. You see what I'm saying? And let me tell you why. Because I feel like the one that asked me right away helped me to kind of like see the type of person he was earlier on. Cause see, me and that person, we met in September, and I broke up with him. Yeah, we got together quick. I broke up with him that February, right? But I started learning early on. I'm sorry. Thank you, Holy Spirit. I didn't break up with him. I'm sorry. He broke up with me. As a matter of fact, it was Super Bowl Sunday. He broke up with me. The audacity. I put it on there. It's on there. I can't remember what that name, what I titled that, but that's on one of the playlists. But yeah, so when you realize somebody earlier on, it kind of gives you a more ball in your court type of thing. How you gonna handle this? You see what I'm saying? But somebody who goes months and months and months and months and months and months before they ask you for a dime, it's completely different. But now y'all know too. It wasn't even that you asked me for the money, because I had put trust in him. You know, it was the fact that you lied about how you did it. Not only did you lie, you took the same girl. Oh, I forgot to tell y'all that the same girl that you claimed was your ex. It was her. It was the same girl. I would have, if he would have, I would have. It would have hurt me. You know what I'm saying? If he would have told me, but it would have been so much better if he would have just said, "Yeah, me and my ex started talking again. You know, we trying to work it out." Then him trying to make it. I'm telling y'all, he was still talking trash to me about her. I mean, not all the time, but you know what I'm saying. He was still, you know what I'm saying, like she was still the ex that did him wrong. All the while you call me and borrow money for me to take another girl out. I'm sorry. Where do they do that at? Narcissisticville. Narcissistic land. That's where they do it at. So yeah, that's the end of that story, y'all. And I have another one. I got one more. It's a short story too. But that's it for now. If you have not subscribed, like I said, if you have not subscribed, I would encourage you to go ahead and subscribe and like the video. Please share and like the video, y'all. And I appreciate you. Hello to my new subscribers. I see more and more. I appreciate y'all. Thank you for subscribing. I hope you are enjoying your journey here. I know I rap a lot, but I mean I'm very detailed. And if you subscribing to this to me, you're probably one of the people who likes to listen to very detailed story. So I make no apologies for who I am and what I've gone through. But but yeah, the Lord has me share my stories for testimony's sake, because God has delivered and healed me from these situations, and these situations, these situationships, and these relationships, and one marriage. Because thank God my husband now is not, he doesn't have a narcissistic bone in his body. I praise God Almighty. Listen, he will redeem. Okay. But anyway, I am doing fine. I'm good. I know y'all haven't seen me. um I'll be back, you know what I'm saying, at some point on regular social media, but I'm still with y'all on YouTube, because the Lord be telling me to go ahead and do this, go ahead and release this, go ahead and release that. And I know I still owe y'all my dream. So hubby and I are doing fantastic as always. um yeah, that's it. The Lord be telling me be quiet, Lord. I can't be telling too much. It's too many monitoring spirits. But anyway, just know that we are fantastic. We're doing great. It's despite of what people be assuming when I'm not on social media. They love to assume that there's something wrong with us. That's the first thing people assume, and it couldn't be more wrong. But anyway, all right, I will see y'all on the next video. Remember, people receive and relate. Tell your story, tell your story, tell your story, and especially tell it when God has healed you, because somebody else needs to know that you will be healed and you can't get out of it. Okay. And I love you, but know that God loves you so much more. I'll talk to y'all next time. Bye.